Yo, how's it going, everybody? Chadley here. Welcome back to another New World video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at why I think stonecutting is one of the most important crafting skills in the entire game, and why I think pretty much everybody in the game needs to have it leveled up. Because the more people who do have it leveled up and maxed out, the easier it's going to be for everybody to run expeditions and pretty much do anything. So this is going to be very, very helpful if everybody gets on board with this. So for this video, I'm going to be explaining the different aspects on why it's so important, and then towards the end, I'll just give like a quick little rundown of how I leveled it so far. I'm not quite max, but I'm in the 150s, and this is definitely where it starts slowing down, but I'll show you guys exactly what I've been doing so far. But really quick, we are on the home stretch to 50,000 subscribers here on the channel, so if you want to be a part of that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you guys come over to the Twitch channel. We stream basically every single day, so I'm happy to answer any sort of questions over there. But otherwise, let's see exactly why stonecutting I think is so important. So the first reason is if you guys leveled this up early on as you are leveling and you're doing any sort of town boards, these stone bricks and lodestone bricks are actually worth a ton of XP to turn in. If you turn in 40 lodestone bricks, it's like 7,500 XP, and you guys can do this very easily. Lodestone's super cheap on the market. Stone bricks are easy to make and also even cheaper on the market. And then now with the increase to refining materials, sandpaper, and all that is super cheap. So it's never been easier to make these different crafting materials and then turn them into the town boards and get a ton of XP. And then once you get to 150, obsidian void stone is another thing you can turn in for like over 10k XP at its max turn in value, which is pretty darn insane for leveling. Now, the second minor thing is just being able to cut your own gemstones is huge. I can actually cut the pristines when I have them, and also you don't even need really arcana to go with these. One, you can obviously just buy the essences, but they can get pretty expensive. But for the quintessences, which is the really hard one to get, I'm not quite there with my arcana. The essences weren't too bad to get in the arcana front. So if you guys do that, these are perfectly fine just to hold you over until your max gear score. But otherwise, if you do need something really good for a good piece of gear, like your faction fire staffs, any of those different faction weapons, the quintessences, there's actually a couple that you can get from mining or logging or just harvesting different things throughout the world. You can get life quintessences from the Angry Earth dogs. You can get the earth quintessences from the Angry Earth bears. And there's also some things out in Reekwater that I believe will give you the soul quintessences that you can go around and pick up in there. But with just how easy it is to get life quintessences, it is really nice to have 150 stone cutting so I can make things like diamonds. I think diamond is one of the most useful gems in the entire game. So just having that option for free is really nice to me. But now the biggest reason why I think everybody needs stone cutting in this game, and that is tuning orbs. Tuning orbs are incredibly important. You guys cannot run expeditions without them, and eventually everyone will have used their different tuning orbs. And then at that point, it's going to be on everybody to craft their own. And the more people who are crafting them, the more runs that are going to be going around in your servers. So as long as everybody gets on board with this, the more and more expeditions that are going to be run and the more gear you guys can get as a whole. Like I said, once those 1 to 2 tuning orbs are gone from your quest lines, you have to make these, and they are a pain in the butt to make. So as we can see with the Lazarus tuning orb, it requires 10 runestone, which requires maxed out stone cutting. I'm not even quite there yet. I'm at 162, so I still have quite a ways to go just to be able to try to make a tuning orb, and that's not even probably the most grindy part. Right now, the different corrupted shards and fragments, those things, these are all bind on pickup, so you cannot pool these as a group and then craft the different tuning orbs just having like one person with stone cutting. Each person is going to need to have that stone cutting up, so when they do get these different fragments and those, you can combine them to make the higher tiers, because right now the tier 5 Azoth staff is currently bugged, so it's really hard to get these higher tier ones. You're going to have to just farm the fragments and shards from the mid tier portals and then combine them up to get to the lodestones and crystals. It is a lot of work just to make one tuning orb for one run of an expedition, and these expeditions are super important. Once you guys get to the max gear score, you now have a chance to get legendaries, at least with a lot of luck. It's still a little weird what's going on there. I might make a video on that in the future, But right now, the only real way of getting legendaries is to max out your gear score and then run different bosses or expeditions for a very small chance at them. So to me, I'm going to want to make every single run count. That's why I haven't used any of my tuning orbs yet. And I'm going to be waiting until I can craft more to even start and then also get to the max gear score in the process. Now, some that aren't quite as grindy to make, which are the arena tuning orbs around the map for like Spriggan, the Siren, any of those are much easier to make. As you can see, I can pretty much make one right now if I just went to my faction and bought the Star Metal Chisel. But yeah, these are going to be very nice for actually getting gear to move up gear score as well. So just having the ability to craft these, and these are super easy to get early on. You only need 50 stone cutting to be able to get these. You will need 100 for the lodestone bricks, but you guys can buy those. So that's not really a huge deal. Once you get this, it's going to be a lot easier to move up your gear score as well. But yeah, the more and more people on a server who get their stone cutting up and are able to make these tuning orbs, the more runs that the server as a whole are going to be able to do and just move up that gear score quicker. Hopefully that made sense to you guys why I think it's so important for everybody to get stone cutting. But now let's go ahead and just look into exactly how I leveled it to what I'm at right now, into the 160s. So pretty much all you guys are going to be doing is, no surprise, just getting a metric buttload of stone. Just go get thousands of stone. It's really easy to get. It's everywhere. I have farmed a lot outside like the South of Windsward. It's also a short walk. If you guys are by Everfall up in the mountains, there's a ton of stone that you guys can go and grab. And otherwise, just craft it all in the stone blocks. And then when you can do stone bricks, craft those. Do that all the way to 100. It is going to take you guys like less than an hour to get to 100 stone cutting from 0. It is actually super, super quick. And then if you and maybe like a friend or two are just all out mining stone, you guys can combine it all and just get a ton for each other. Then once you guys are at 100, you get a little bit more flexibility in what you want to be using and just different options to be leveling up stone cutting. A big one is lodestone bricks. I got this to 150 just by crafting these while I was leveling, doing some town board stuff for the last like 5-10 levels. And then otherwise, the cutting of the different gems are actually worth a decent amount. As we can see, when we cut a gem, it's worth about 5,000 here. And once you guys are 150, it goes all the way up to about 31,000. And then even more is just turning the uncuts into a higher version. So these blues will give about 7,500. And then if we look at the pristines, these are going to be giving 41,000 stone cutting per. This is actually what I'm personally doing once I am above 150, is just cutting these. These move the level quite a big chunk, a lot more than a lot of these obsidian voidstones and lodestone bricks. I am throwing these in the mix just because these are much easier to get than the different gems. But whenever I can do these gems, I am 100% cutting these and getting that stone cutting up. And at that point, that 150 to 200 is literally just grinding these over and over and over. It is not a fast process. Any of these skills going to 200 can get quite grindy. So just keep at it, keep making those obsidian voidstones and cutting those gems, and you guys will be 200 before you know it. So just a quick little recap on that leveling: from 0 to 100, just stone blocks, stone bricks, whatever you can get your hands on. Then 100 to 150, be making those lodestone bricks and also cutting some of those blue gems when you can. You might have to level up some arcana in the process. Otherwise, if you have somebody for essences, get your hands on those. And then the 150 to 200 is just cutting the different pristine gems and also making obsidian voidstone when you can. But yeah, that is pretty much the video and why I think stone cutting is so important. I'm just trying to get as many people on this stone cutting train as I can, because like I said, the more and more people who have stone cutting and have access to making tuning orbs, the easier it's going to be for just everybody to get on board with runs and just farm out the different expedition gear. But if you guys did learn something from this video and enjoyed it, make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video to let me know. It really does help me out. Also consider subscribing. Like I said, we're on the road to 50,000 subscribers, so hopefully I'll see you guys back for a future video. But anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.